welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about small actions and the importance of these small actions, your everyday actions. Guys, small actions add up. I have plenty of examples to go along in this video, so make sure you watch until the end to get the most out of it. First example, I'm going to go back to, I believe it was March. I have to find this video on my phone, but when I first got to Japan, I couldn't do a single one-arm pull-up on my left hand. On my right, it was debatable. On my left hand, I couldn't do a single one-arm pull-up, right? It felt impossible, guys. This is just a training example. It took a lot of pull-ups. Just did a lot of pull-ups because I didn't have easy access to climbing, and I still don't, because climbing is kind of like the cheat code of building that strength. And even then, you have to be climbing seriously and progressing. So, climbing powerfully. But I didn't have rock climbing, so I did a lot of pull-ups. I was like, you know what? People have done this with pull-ups, so I'm gonna do a lot of pull-ups. On days I didn't feel like it, I didn't get sleep some days, sleeping 2 hours. I know what you're saying, that's not ideal, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, that action, that small action, just going to the gym for a couple hours and doing my pull-ups, it started adding up. The volume started adding up. And today, I'm at 4. I'm at 4 reps on each arm. I was so close to getting 5. I felt like I could have attempted it, but I didn't, because this week I slacked off. And you might, if you watch my last video, you might see that I talk about that a little bit. Yeah, this week I broke my routine. The last video was about routines, and so I wasn't able to break my plateau. Another example is running, guys. I hate running with a passion. There's nothing I hate more than running. Back in New York, I was only running 1.5 miles. I worked my way up. So you think, well, you're a Marine. If you didn't know, I'm in the military. You're a Marine. You're used to running all the time. Okay, yes, but we have breaks. We have leave. Things happen, right? I started running half a mile, 3 days a week. Half a mile. Baby way my way up. Half a mile, and then half a mile, so a quarter mile. And then, so half a mile the second day, right? So 3 days a week, so day number 2 would be half a mile. Day number 3, okay, half a mile plus a quarter mile. Okay, then the next week, that new day, day 1, half a mile, and then 5-minute rest, another half mile. Then the next day, that whole week I did that. The week after that, day 1, half a mile, half a mile. Day 2, I tried to go a full mile. And little by little, I worked my way up to 1.5 miles, three times a week. The small actions, all those steps, all the volume I did, the consistency, it added up. Because I never ran more than half a mile at a 7-minute pace. But consistently, after the end of a lot of my training, so after my climbing, my rock climbing, and when it came time for me to do my PFT, which is a 3-mile run, as fast as you can, I did a PFT and I did pretty good. I think I got 22 minutes or 21 minutes and something, which is a 7-minute per mile pace, something like that. Only having run 1.5 miles, because I knew 1.5 miles was half of 3. It's because all the volume. I had ran over 3 miles over the quarter of the month. I had ran, I'll do the math in a second, but I had ran quite a bit, right? It adds up. 1.5 miles isn't 3 miles, but 1.5 miles 3 times a week. That adds up, guys. It adds up. So when it came time to do double that, I had no issue doing it. Another thing is your diet. I'm not saying I have the perfect diet, but just simple things like drinking a lot of water and eating clean consistently, or eating clean 5 days out of the week, out of 7 days, and training, right? When you do these small things, and I get it, for me, training, you might be saying training's not small for you. Okay, that's fine. But what I'm trying to say is these small actions, they do add up, guys. Like just your daily habits. If you think about it, here's another example. For most of us, as we go through life, without the exception of very few people, we're gonna gain weight, right? Even me. And you're like, okay, but you're not fat. The type of weight you're gonna gain depends on those small actions, your daily choices. Are you eating Doritos or are you eating a banana? Oh, bananas don't fill me. Doritos, no, you just have a sweet tooth. You have a savory tooth. You want like that dopamine. Eat 2 or 3 bananas. Get some peanut butter. Eat a bunch of them. Right? Mix yourself some rice. I even eat hamburgers because it's more accessible. They're not the best for me, but at least I'm getting protein, right? So I'm not trying to eat like the bottom of the bottom, which is like that fast food Doritos, right? I'm trying to eat a step above that. It's just one step above, but everyone else is still eating at the bottom, which is like the worst of the worst kind of food that you could have. You know, drinking, it shows, right? Like you choose not to drink. That small action, that daily action, not drinking once a week, even if you only drink once a week, that's gonna show. It's gonna show. And I didn't even notice it myself. If you think about it, you look at yourself every day in the mirror and you see what you look like. You can't notice a lot of things. You can't notice weight gain. Your friends, your peers are going to be the ones to notice it first. You might notice it, right? You're probably going to notice it, but sometimes you won't. Sometimes it's going to be your peers that notice that first. For me, I think I've only gained like, probably only like 9 pounds. Some of it is fat, guys, alright? Some of it is fat, but that little bit of weight gain, people started like saying something to me. I got a little bit more color because I'm like in a tropical island, right? In Japan. But people started saying like, oh, like you're looking a little bit like stronger. You're looking a little bit like bigger. And I'm not going for size. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying like, I'm just trying to get stronger. And that consistency, those small actions add up. Another thing is, don't tell people you're putting in the work. It's going to show. It's going to speak for itself, guys, all right? Because the actions you take, those small actions, your everyday actions, small actions is like something you're doing daily, right? I know, like, if you're training 5 hours daily, which I do that like every other day or 3 times a week at minimum, that's not daily, but it's still part of like your weekly routine, right? So the things you do daily, weekly, those are small things, right? If you're doing something like once a year, that's not a small action, right? So those small actions, the things you're doing day to day, they're just part of your everyday routine. That's gonna separate you from other people, and that's how I see myself. I see myself doing those small actions, and I'm starting to finally feel like I am gaining some of those benefits. Grooming is a big one. A lot of people are not as consistent with their grooming and their appearance, and I should be one to take my own advice because I'm not the best at like appearance, but that's just because I'm constantly moving, so I don't want to have a huge wardrobe right now. But I do see myself, I've always seen myself in my mind dressing very mature, very sophisticated, respectful, like a respectful adult male, So that's my take. Small actions add up. So just use that as motivation. What you do daily matters. You're not going to notice it. You're not going to think it matters. You're not going to think it matters if you eat that cupcake, and it probably doesn't. It's just over time, those daily actions, you keep eating that stuff, it's going to make your face puffy. It's going to make you less vascular. You might gain weight. You might only gain 2 pounds a year. Okay. 5 years go by, gain 10 pounds. You're gonna notice 10 pounds. And you might think, oh, it's not a big deal, I could lose that. Okay. It could have been 10 pounds of muscle if you had just been like training. My objective isn't to gain muscle. However, I'm consistent with training to get stronger, and of course, muscle will be a byproduct of strength. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. on why small actions do matter. Stay motivated, stay inspired with your goals, and keep doing those small actions. They matter. Okay, this is the end of the video. Hopefully this was inspiring and motivating to continue to do those small actions every single day that you're doing, that you know you should be doing. They're gonna make a difference at the end, even if you don't notice it right away. I'm starting to notice it. It does matter. Catch you guys on the next video. Peace.